Welcome to the underground cemetery of Limberry Castle. This is the Final Fantasy Tactics All Archers run. We defeated Mr. Elmdor, the Marquis Elmdor, upstairs in the main part as his human form. And now we're in the underground cemetery beneath the castle. So now we have to take him on in his Zodiac monster or Zodiac demon form. This battle was messy and sloppy. This successful battle here was a little cleaner, but my first attempt was extremely sloppy because of the randomness of Nightmare. The Nightmare can do either sleep or death sentence to everyone it targets, and he gets to cast it without a charge time. So he's going to come on his first action as the Zodiac Demon to do Nightmare. And in this one, you'll see we get more death sentences than sleeps. Sleep was very problematic in this fight because this is one where we needed to just dump damage on him as quickly as we could. This could have been one that we played more defensively, but generally with these Zodiac monsters, I'm trying to just go all out on offense. Meliadul back there is going to be trying to take the attention of those skeletons, although sometimes when I have a character put to sleep, I wish they would come up and use Knife Hand or something on a sleeping character. But anyway, now that we are, I see, about 90 seconds into this video, now we're going to start the fight with Zalora, the Angel of Death, after the cutscenes. Here comes Nightmare. And now we saw Quechlin use Nightmare earlier, but it just seemed less problematic back then because it was a little less threatening battle. So death sentence is on, not a problem. I'd rather have them able to move. The first one, we got kind of trapped on that bridge right there because so many of my characters got put to sleep. And even as they were slowly woken up, by that time those two knights had moved onto the bridge there, and the knights were not moving. The knights don't have any equipment. They're completely naked in terms of equipment. They do have battle skill on them, so they can break your stuff, and they can attack you for a little bit of damage. But the biggest problem they posed in the first really sloppy fight was just getting up to the edge of that bridge, and then they just sat and waited. They didn't even attempt their battle skills on it. They just sat and waited. So I don't know if they are specifically programmed to try to move up there and block you. I don't know, but they were about as effective as they could be just doing that, just being in my way. Anyway, with this one, I'm able to get Ramza off that bridge a little bit. Now, I'd like to move him closer, but with the difference in height, it's harder to execute the target a tile behind your target and get it to hit. I was noticing trying that out. Some of my crossbows were just shooting underneath him or over him. If they're not on the same level and you're trying to get that line of sight, the arrow seems to just pass right through. So I need to get my characters off that bridge and not so bottlenecked so they're not as vulnerable to Nightmare. But I also need to get damage into that angel as fast as I can. So Mustadio, as my primary big damage dealer, again because of his compatibility to that monster, he's going to try to get an attack in every single turn if he can. These other guys, if they have to miss one, they have to miss one. Here I wasn't sure about line of sight, and indeed he does not get line of sight to Zalora there, so I can't quite get him. I'm using again the Gastrophytus bows because I'm noticing as the game goes on here, the longbows that use the average of your speed, and so there you see one missed there from Orlando, but longbows that average your speed and your AT for their damage start to get pulled down a little bit. As your AT goes up, your speed doesn't grow nearly as fast, as quickly. So here is going to be a knife hand that's going to wake him up. And so they're actually held back a little bit because the Gastrophytus has the same attack power as the Ultimus bow, and then it's just based on my AT. So I'm noticing that that Gastrophytus is doing a lot more damage, and I can put a shield on with it too. Although these last few battles, the shields have not been so effective because we're dealing with the Assassins and Elmdor. We're dealing with a lot more unavoidable moves, automatically hit moves. So now Meliadul is starting to draw some of the attention of those skeletons back there. The Knife Hand did wake up my other character, which is good. Although Nightmare is going to be upcoming next round that the Angel of Death gets his turn. There's Zalora. And again, we're bunched up because we're using bracers and not the Germanus boots, so we don't have that extra tile of movement to spread ourselves out. So here again, though, not too bad. Only one sleep in that one, and Mustadio guarded that. I'm not sure what piece of equipment he had was able to guard that. I don't know how that works. The Gastrophytus does have a small physical evade. We do have crystal shields on that have a small magic evade. but I thought that was 100%. I must have been wrong about that when I saw that pop up. So anyway, Ramza is going to try to get into range of that angel again. And he's looking at charging. Just does a little bit more damage per action that you use. And any little bit you can squeeze out helps with this guy. And with these Zodiac monsters. So again, I'm trying not to bunch up around him, but I need to get everybody within that 3 to 4 tile range. And again, we can't get too close because of this uneven ground doesn't really allow us to target behind him very easily, as you saw with Orlando missing that shot. And we get a very lucky crit right there. So instead of 160, it does 220. That's a really, really nice crit also. That crits can be kind of random in their range, and that was on the very, very upper end of where where crits can land, because it was a full 60 extra damage. And now Mustadia, with his good compatibility, is going to be able to do more damage, which is good, good, good. We'll definitely take that. And Orlando is looking at his options. But it seems like diminishing returns there. We're just going to get an extra action in here and see if he can survive another round to get this one down. Here's a pretty critical moment right here. You see that Mustadio is charging for a 220 damage charged attack. That power break that lands while he's charging is actually really, really big, because it takes off 3 multipliers of the damage of that Gastrophytus, and that, of course, gets, chunked off of his charge as well, it seems. So instead of 220, it does 180 on a big charge like that. And now the angel is kind of retreated back into that corner. Our characters are all doing okay, but the death sentence is ticking down for us, so we really need to end this very soon. We need to get the next round or so to finish this battle. Otherwise, that death sentence is going to start to kick in, and it's going to be OVER for us. So Ramza can get into position, and hopefully he can hit him with his profile above that, looks like it's a sarcophagus there. And indeed, Ramza can target that guy. And he's looking at what he can do. How much damage can he do? He's going to go for the charge to get an extra 20. You can see I've got 1s and 2s, and 0s are going to be popping up here soon. Meliadul is going to finally fall with 3 skeletons ganging up on her, and her not able to use her breaking sword skills, her shell bust stab and all of that on those animal-type enemies. And actually, even these knights that don't have any equipment, she can't use those either. So he can't quite get into position. This knight's going to come down and go after Ramza with armor break. I could not care less about that. There goes Mustadio. There goes Orlando with the death sentence. There's the charged attack. And there indeed goes Zalara, the Angel of Death. Falls for the first time for us. So there's a reference to Hashmalum, who is Dice Darg's Zodiac monster, and that is going to be where we are heading next. So Limberry Castle, after 3 interesting and quick battles, once they kind of fell in our favor, we are finished with this area of Ivalice, and we are headed west back to Agroz.